All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Damita Chatman, and I'm with Citizens for Excellence and Elected Leaders. Short is C.E.E.L. And today we'll be doing another interview with one of the mayor candidates, and that's Ryan. We're going to be real formal here. We're going to relax. So we just going to call people by their first names. And today we have Ryan here. I want to thank Pastor Chris for allowing us to do this video and to just have a one-on-one conversations with the candidates. At the end of today, we will be releasing the videos of all the candidates that confirmed, and you can hear from them up close personally with me, Damita Chatman. Thank you, Ryan, for coming. You can take your seat. The questions that we have, nobody have these questions but me. And that's why I didn't want nobody in the sanctuary but me and the candidate. And so I want you to relax. First, I want you to give me a minute of yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Thank you. There it is. Thank you, Ms. Chapman. So my name is Ryan Olson. I've lived in Georgia for a little over 10 years now, but I've spent majority of that time in South Fulton. Before I came to Georgia, I worked for a nonprofit, and I was part of a team where it was in the health and fitness industry, and I was part of a team that generated over $1 million. I also managed over 75 employees. But during that process led me to start my own business. I really liked the work, but I thought that I could really help and serve people by running my own business. So I owned and operated my own fitness business for about 6 years. But as God would have it, my fate took me to Georgia. Now, through those opportunities, I've worked in and out of the film industry when I was in Colorado, but the film industry brought me to Georgia. So I've seen what the billions of dollars I've brought into Georgia has done here. I started off with a show called The Walking Dead. You might have heard of that. And but that brought me out to Georgia as a professional stuntman. It's a great business, but I've seen it change Georgia. We've employed a lot of people in Georgia throughout the tax incentives and different things, which is a lot of what I'd like to structure my mayoral campaign on, is how to get business using tax incentives, et cetera. But more importantly, I'm in the union. I'm in the Screen Actors Guild. Now, so that experience has led me to negotiating contracts and voting on them, because we often have plenty of contract negotiations. It's led me to fight for fair wages. And then in 2023, I voted to go on strike. I was one of the people that voted yes. There was a lot of us that voted yes because we did go on strike. But that being said, the reason was I was willing to do what I think is necessary to have what's right. Sometimes you have to give it up to make sure that you're fighting the fight and getting the right thing done. And these are giants that we're playing with, which is Amazon and Netflix and multi-million, billion-dollar companies. So, but being in the union, it taught me a lot. It taught me to look at a lot of the contracts, understand what we're getting, and it kind of relates to a lot of these data centers that are even coming in, because this makes you think about the contracts and who you're dealing with and these companies you're dealing with. And as mayor, if they were to come into our city, which they are, what are we getting back for it?
And well, I'm gonna stop you because you go.
I'm jumping from one thing to the next.
Yeah. Thank you. And when you said Walking Dead, so you did some of your movies off of Cascade Palmetto at the Texaco station. Is that correct? They did some filming over there for Walking Dead.
They did.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Ryan. And Ryan, I want you to be comfortable. Sometimes, people say a little something, but I'm gonna make you comfortable, and we're gonna get through these questions. You have about, I'd say 25 questions. And
perfect.
if you ain't long-winded, and I don't have to cut you off, we can be out of here for the next candidate. Okay, let's move on.
Sure.
What are the city of South Fulton biggest challenges, and what is your plan to address them in the first 100 days?
Now, I'm going to keep this as short as I can. I think one of our biggest challenges currently is accountability and transparency within our government. Now, I've addressed that the hard thing for me is I think that's the number one, but it also should be expected. We should have accountability and transparency. So I feel like that is one of our number one issues at the moment. Other than that, I would say economic development. But let me go off on the accountability and transparency. My first 100 days, I would like to establish a mayor advisory board. And the reason is I feel like as a mayor, the goal is not just all about me. The goal is how do I rally the residents and how do I represent you? So a mayor advisory board would be faith leaders, business leaders, HOA leaders and community leaders, to where what I would like to do is develop that where I meet with them often so we can establish and build the accountability of what we all want and make sure that we are delivering for the residents.
Okay, thank you. How would you describe the relationship between the mayor and the council, and how would you strengthen it?
The mayor and the council relationship I think is very important. Obviously it's a weak mayor system, but the way I would strengthen it is get back to our mission. I think what we need to do is make sure that each district is being represented properly, but what is our overall mission of South Fulton as a whole? So that one way I would strengthen it is making sure I build those relationships with the council members and doing my best to make sure the council members are representing their districts. And by doing that, I would like to do maybe a mobile mayor clinic where I'm talking to each of the residents in each district. So that way I know too what they are expecting of the council members themselves.
Okay. What is your current, what is the current budget size of the city of South Fulton, and how would you prioritize the spending?
Now we recently just jumped up to 400,000, I believe it was.
400 million?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm a fact check.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, I know budget and spending is important, but I think the first thing we need is an audit. But to answer the question about spending, prioritizing, which it's already kind of been prioritized, would be emergency services. I think one of the biggest things we need to work on, though, is the response time of our emergency services. Now I believe with our fire department and new police department, we'll have our call center in there, and that should help with that, opposed to the outside call center. But I believe the emergency services would be a huge priority of our budget, because I feel like economic development and things like that will come from the outside that I can bring into South Fulton.
Okay. How familiar are you with the city's current strategy plan, and what will you add or change?
I've looked it over. I personally think we need to focus more on bringing business into South Fulton. So as you see, I keep going more about the economic development. With their strategic plan, I believe that what I would like to see is more of our business staying into our city. Right now, I don't know if our plan right now is really encompassing maybe an overall ideal goal of having all our business stay within South Fulton, because right now a lot of residents leave South Fulton, which is tax dollars, leaving our city to spend in other places.
Yeah. What steps will you take to improve transparency and public trust in the city government?
Overall, we obviously need our budget published, which it is already published, but I think it should be in plain terms of English. Everyone should know, but also establishing the communication with the residents of what is going on and why. So if we are spending, money, whether it's on the P cards that need to be, audited and budgeted, or other expenses, the residents need to know exactly where that's going, dollar for dollar, cent for cent, and then most importantly, why we are doing that. So that way they understand exactly what the city's goal is and why we're spending the taxpayers' money on certain projects.
Let me ask you a question, since you said something about the P cards. Do you think that every council person should have a P card of $65,000?
No, I think it's been abused. So it's hard for me to say yes, because I believe it's been abused, and I believe the majority of residents feel that way. I would have to look into the expenses. I do believe there is expenses that council members will need, but I don't believe that $65,000 is the amount that they may need.
Okay. And the reason I asked you that question, I remember when we first became a city and we had our city clerk, and he managed the P card. Well, the first 4 years we didn't have issues with P cards. Now we probably had a few, maybe a few on the council that did some stuff with their P cards. As I can remember, I think somebody paid their fraternity dues with a P card. Somebody else did something else with a P card, but we didn't have that in the first 4 years. because it was more controlled.
Absolutely, and that's completely unacceptable. When it's taxpayer funds, when it's resident funds, it should never be going to personal
Absolutely.
council members or any personal vanity projects or anything like that. I think an audit and a double check system would work too. Maybe a double check on each purchase that is getting signed off and documented.
Okay, thanks. Okay. What is your assessment of the South Fulton Police Department, Fire Department, staffing, training, and community relations?
Now, I went on a little bit on that one with our new developments. I do believe we need more accountability in that area as well. I don't want to speak on the matters that we've had in South Fulton because I don't know exactly what's happened, but it's not a good look for our city. And I know that there is, for me being out talking to the residents, there is a big concern in the response time of our first responders. I think the call center is a big deal that's going to help with that. And then I think we also, with our new police and fire department, it needs to be fully staffed, and we need to have gold standard response times to where the residents, but the businesses too, feel safe within South Fulton, which will stimulate more of South Fulton.
Okay. Now, so okay, since you said that, let me ask you a question. We talk about building this fire station and police station, and the millions of dollars that it's going to cost to build this building. But you don't hear the council or the mayor talking about what it's going to cost to staff that building, the staffing, the cleaning, the products. You don't hear that. So that's another cost that's going to be added, and the number of people that you're going to have to run that. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, and that's a very important question because it's like if you buy an expensive car, you got to think about the gas and the oil that goes in it. It needs to be talked about, it needs to be looked into because that is something that's very true. There is no point in having these emergency services or these buildings if we can't fully operate them at the top gold standard level. But it is going to cost.
I agree. How do you plan to address crime and public safety while balancing concerns about over-policing?
I believe building the community relationship with the police. I did go to the old National Night Out, which I thought was a great event recently. But I believe having the police, be within the neighborhoods, but also maybe a mentorship. They could do it with our kids, but just more active with our police and building that trust, but also making sure that the administrative and the leaders within the police department are also having accountability to their actions.
Was that the first time you had went to a national night out?
It is.
Okay.
And just to be fair, my nephew just became a DeKalb firefighter, so
Okay.
I've learned. I can't say I know completely too much about the first responders, but
Okay.
I've learned a lot more.
Okay. I heard it was nice. I've been to one, but I heard that it was more employees there than, because it used to be really big, and I don't know what happened, but things change.
It was not packed.
Okay, well, something need to be done, and we're going to
Yeah,
talk about
I
all
agree,
of that
I
tonight
agree.
on Facebook Live.
I agree.
Thank you. What are the city's biggest infrastructure needs? Roads, sidewalks, lighting, and drainage. And how would you fund these improvements?
I always say, so for every development, there should be three things: sidewalks, lighting, and turning lanes. I feel without the proper turning lanes, we are just congesting traffic. But I also think infrastructure should be thought of and built first before our developments, because it's going to bring it in. Now, just to bring it a little more personal, I am in District 4, so 92. They just recently put up stoplights, and it's been more of a bottleneck problem, and it's caused more issues in that area. Now, granted, it'd be nice to widen the road, but then now you're talking about buying property to do so. There's roundabouts that are supposed to go on. I believe the roundabouts have became a better option for us as people know more how to use them. But yeah, I believe a lot right now is the traffic. We have a huge city growing. It's grown immensely, and we do not have the infrastructure that with the wide roads enough for the traffic to flow.
And I agree with you. That's why my thing is, I don't mind building the homes and et cetera, but I think they need a plan, because 92 is a nightmare, And you said something about the roundabouts, and since you only been here 10 years, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so sometime these candidates, they run off that they put these roundabouts and also.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but those roundabouts, I will give you a little history of those roundabouts. Those roundabouts were all approved under the late Emma Darnell, Commissioner Emma Darnell, the late Tom Lowe. Then it was former Commissioner Bill Edwards. And so, Congressman David Scott led the charge to make sure we get the money. So I find it kind of strange when candidates say they did that, they didn't do that. So I want to fact check that just in case if somebody told you that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
That was done under Fulton County. What happened was it just got done in these couple years because of things stopped. 2005, everything hit the bottom, so everything stopped. But the city of South Fulton didn't do those roundabouts.
Yeah. Well, I always believe you should give credit where credit's due.
I believe giving credit to where due, and if it ain't there, don't give it.
And that will strengthen the relationships
Absolutely.
of a functioning government.
Absolutely. If you start, my firm, if you start out the door line, you're gonna continue on line. That's just my belief. But thank you, because you said that, so I want to blame. Okay, how would you tackle code enforcement issues, especially regarding blighted, illegal dumping, and absentee landlords?
Now, I believe, I think they should be all documented. Everything should be documented with code enforcement on finding the blighted properties and absentee landlords. When it comes to dumping, I believe that, video footage and things like that. I know we have some video footage throughout the city, but also just ways to report it, which I know there's an app that you can use to report things like that. But you definitely want to stop it. So, I mean, it's not really necessarily the mayor's role, but having laws against it and making sure the police enforce the laws. Hefty fines, things like that. Blighted properties, you will have to just contact the property owners and make sure you let them, code enforcement on them and just enforce it.
Okay. And I will always say and stand firmly, I don't know what this code enforcement do. I've been watching, and they're getting better. But we had a code enforcement back in the 2000, until we became a city. And just about, I don't think it's nobody there now that was under the old code enforcement. They just couldn't deal with the drama. So they either left, retired. We had some outstanding, and they took care of the communities. People knew our code enforcement. When you called them, they came.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I would love for that to get back, because even with someone shared with me how sometimes code enforcements begin to get into this politic thing. And I'm not saying they did you, but picking up certain candidate signs, but leaving other candidate signs down. And I've said it once, I've stopped them and said, now if you're gonna pick up one candidate sign, you need to pick them all up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I've witnessed them leave one candidate sign down there and pull up everyone else. And I told them, I said, just because they're on council, they have to follow the same rules as the rest.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm wondering where all my signs have gone.
if you want to know where your sign's at, I tell you, you go down to the code enforcement on Fulton Industrial. And they should tell you guys, they put all those signs in a truck back there, they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And all your signs will be there. And if you got your signs over in Union City, you go to Union City government and all your signs will be there. They should tell you guys that.
Absolutely. Well,
because signs cost money.
They sure do. They sure do. And to go back to code enforcement, with them responding when citizens call, and that comes back to accountability within the government. Whether it's our first responders, code enforcement, or the council and the mayor, we all are accountable as a machine together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Let me ask you, because I want to ask you about absentee landlords. How do you feel do you feel that investors should be held accountable?
Absolutely. This is something I believe we saw in 2020, and I saw it in my own neighborhood. There's a lot of investors that came in and they buy people out. It makes it hard for the average home buyer to be able to buy the home. And then what do? They're not paying attention to the property. Usually they just get their investment money out of it and then they leave it. I've seen that in my own personal neighborhood, but I do think they should be held accountable. Now, I would like to hold them accountable any way possible.
Okay, thank you. What is your plan for improving parks, recreation centers, and green spaces in South Fulton?
Now, this is a big thing. I love our parks. I think we need to improve our parks. Being from Colorado, we had a lot of parks out there that were beautiful parks, and I would like to see our neighborhoods more connected. Mm-hmm. I think if our neighborhoods were connected, it would encourage our neighbors to be more involved with each other. But whether that is a beltline style within South Fulton or bicycle paths, but I think the parks and recreation is extremely important. Another thing I believe is for our seniors. I think we should have walking paths. Now I know at the Cliftondale Park they put in a little walking path around there, but I think that's something that should be standard at all our parks. All our parks should have options for our seniors, for our kids, and then another subject has been more sensory for those parents that have autistic children or along those lines.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should, instead of us catering to certain issues, we should look at the big picture. And you live in District 4, I live in District 2, so we connect. I've always said that District 2 needed something. We shouldn't have to send our kids over to District 3 or District 1. Mm-hmm. And if you've been here 10 years, Cliftondale used to have a great softball area. I mean, it'd be packed. Mm-hmm. And it hadn't been packed for years. And now that they done took that, I'm paying attention on where that's going to go.
Yes, I've noticed that our parks aren't being utilized very much, and I think that's a loss of the quality of the parks that it's offering to our residents.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What is your plan for improving? Okay, I got that one. Thank you. What strategies would you use to attract business and grow the city's tax base without displacing longtime residents?
This is one that I believe, as the old saying goes, if you build it, they will come. I think we need to open up our city and streamline it to where these businesses feel welcome here. And I mean, we are 20 minutes from the airport. We have FIFA coming in. We have a great location. There's no reason why businesses shouldn't want to be in South Fulton. Now, to find the area, that's the other challenge. I would like to see more of like a town center style square, kind of like we've seen in other cities. And we don't have to rewrite the book, but we can follow other cities that and mirror their platforms of how they've done it with their cities, town squares and whatnot, to where businesses can come around, where you have restaurants, local restaurants, and places more for families to go maybe on a Friday night.
And so right now, the land, the only people that got land, District 2 might have a little bit more, but District 4.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that. It's a lot of land out there.
Yeah. Now I also do support the agricultural.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So it will need to be a balance.
Oh,
absolutely. There will need to be a balance.
Absolutely.
But and you might have that question up ahead. And then for the tax base too, I mean, maybe we could offer a tax incentive like the film industry, where these businesses have a tax incentive to come here, and then we encourage them by being good leaders to employ South Fulton people.
Because out there in District 4, I know it's a road over there, and it's rural, where they have horses and farming. And I remember back in 2005, it probably even went even back farther than that, but I can only speak for 2005.
Yeah.
They did not want their dirt road paved.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It's a reason why they don't want their dirt road paved.
Mm-hmm.
It's country, it's rural. Horses can't ride on asphalt.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying to change that, and I hope that the leaders leave that alone.
Yeah, you got to respect the residents.
You have to.
And that's one big thing with any development, whether it's economic or residential. We have to respect the culture of the area.
Absolutely, absolutely. How do you plan to support small business and entrepreneurs in South Fulton?
This kind of goes back to my mayor advisory board. I would like to develop it where I am encouraging business leaders to come to me with ideas and how we can establish this, how we can best fit South Fulton needs. I think South Fulton does know what we do have when it comes to our stores and what we do want, maybe another grocery store, things like that. But my goal was to reach out to these business leaders, and like I said, if I can streamline the permits and cut any red tape I could to encourage them to come here or offer a tax incentive, I would do that. Now, granted, we are going to want to encourage businesses, local businesses, to come here that we may not already offer.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you say business, let me ask you, because people is talking about the data centers.
Oh yeah.
And the data center that's on Stonewall Tail, that's in Union City. We can't control another man's house. But it's funny that some of the council don't talk about half of that data center back is in District 3.
And there it is.
And we only have 7 data centers, they say, and I'm going to have that number tonight and talk more about that data centers. How do you feel about data centers?
You know, I've looked into the data centers a lot, and I went to the District 3 meeting about data centers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why they have to be here. I don't see, now I know they offer tax advantages, maybe $74 million in taxes, and then they offer to build your infrastructure. There are some benefits, but they employ maybe 14 people. They utilize a lot of the water, and then there's also the concerns of what happens if those data centers in the next 10, 20 years. That's something we have to think about. Now, AI is on the rise, so we're gonna really have to think about the data centers and the development, but are they gonna stay here, or are they gonna decide to up and leave, and then next thing you know, we're left with another empty building or infrastructure that's falling apart that they are no longer taking care of.
Something to think about. Something to think about. What is your stance on affordable housing, and how will you balance development with preserving the neighborhood associations?
With affordable housing, I'm okay with affordable housing as long as it doesn't impact residents that have already been here and the culture of their communities. I think mixed use zoning would be a good idea, where maybe you have a complex that maybe has a certain amount of affordable housing, and we work with them on what they offer within the city. And that could be, maybe it's above the town center. You see a lot of different kind of apartments or something built. I don't say that apartments or townhomes are always bad or that they're bad people, but the value does need to reflect the, this works, oh, there we go. The value does need to reflect the current community, to where we're not dropping any home prices in the process.
Thank you, thank you. Now let me ask you, since we on that and you said that, this, and if you follow on social media, it was a big cry out because of the council wanted to change and put apartments and townhomes in a certain area. And it's already a problem there with traffic.
Yep.
Do you think they should address the traffic issues first?
Yes.
Before they?
Yes, infrastructure first. Infrastructure, and there's a personal one for me in District 4 of townhomes that are going up right by where I live, and I already see the traffic build. And I see that with the stoplights that were put in, and I see the traffic build, I see the amount of car accidents. I know someone who's personally lost their life on that road.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
It already is a nightmare.
Yeah. Is that the gentleman that was walking to the store and they found his body?
Oh no, this was
Okay.
another gentleman I knew that unfortunately was a head-on collision on
Okay.
92.
It's always.
But I see too much, especially by the Publix on 92 in
Oh,
South
it's a
Fulton Industrial.
nightmare.
There is too much, and this is part of the reason I'm running for mayor, and another reason is I see this stuff and I complain so much, or I can actually try to get in and do something.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you. What is your vision of revitalizing the key commercial corridors like Old National Highway, Roosevelt Highway, and Camp Creek Parkway?
That's very important. Now I'm going to relate this back. So at first, originally, I thought, that might be a good spot for a town center. That might be a good spot for us to stimulate economic growth and bring in
Which
small
one?
business. Like say Old National.
Okay.
But the biggest thing we have to do is now focus on a response time of the police. If the area is not safe, I don't believe anyone's going to want to invest their money in there. It's going to come down to businesses or residential. So the one thing we have to think about first is, there we go, is making sure that it's a safe area and kind of established. But I think each area could use a lot of love.
Okay, thank you. How will you partner with Fulton County Schools to support student success in South Fulton?
Now, I would love to have any partnership possible with Fulton County Schools. I think that's extremely important, especially since I believe our schools are overcrowded. But what I'd like to do though is make sure we have partnership opportunities for the kids within Fulton County Schools or South Fulton schools, and make sure that they have partnerships maybe with these businesses that are coming in, and a mentorship with our adults that will take on with these children and help them and maybe teach them how to start a business and different things. There's a lot of educational, even if it goes to tech or AI or along those lines.
Thank you, thank you. You said you was gonna ask some quick.
I'm trying. You got me passionate.
Oh, that's okay. I told you it was gonna be fun. Just relax.
Yeah.
What resources or programs would you champion for youth development, job training, and safe teen driving initiatives?
I would champion any way we can connect with our youth. So that was kind of what I talked about with the mentorship within the local businesses. If we can have some type of mentorship with that, then absolutely. But also if we build our park and recreation to have more of our youth use the parks and recreation, whether it's sport specific or some kind of activity, that way they give a child a purpose and they will do fine. But you take away that purpose and that's when the kids can get in trouble.
Thank you. I'll let you get you some water. Like another candidate. They said they needed their water. Thank you. Thank you much. Thank you so much. What investments should the city make to better serve seniors, including those with mobility and accessible needs?
Now, of course, every building should have the accessible needs when it comes to handicapped and mobility needs. But again, I would like to see more walking parks and different things for our seniors. Right now, a big push is for pickleball and certain things with activities for our seniors. But I'd also like to see even a mobile. We can partner with a company. We don't have to always be on South Fulton's budget, but we can partner with companies where mobile visits for them to get to their care and their doctors and whatnot, and it could partner with the city, some kind of transportation service.
Okay, and you know senior service fall under Fulton County service.
Okay.
That's the only thing fall under Fulton County.
Yeah.
Is senior service.
Yeah.
And we should be having, this is gonna be a tab for you. We should be having a senior center coming, but I think what needs to happen, the city leaders should push that.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a huge senior population.
Yes, and it's gonna go on Stonewall Tail. They should push that. Sometimes you have to push that instead of other agendas.
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you agree with me?
I do agree with you. Our seniors and youth is what I
absolutely, because I'm gonna get old one day. I'm getting old now.
I feel you.
How will you ensure all 7 districts in South Fulton receive adequate service and investments?
Now, I think the mobile mayor clinic, where I can go to each individual district and meet with the residents and make sure that their needs are being met. But that also goes back to the transparency with our accounting and our budgeting. And I'm gonna rely a lot on the elected officials that are the council members for what their districts need. But I think reaching out to the residents, making sure there's a strong communication where they feel they can also reach out to me, and I could be the voice. I mean, hey, a weak mayor system, what do? I'll be the voice and the face. And I will echo what they would like to their council member if needed.
Okay. Do you think that council members should treat every district like it's their own city?
Not necessarily. I think every district might have different needs, but we're all South Fulton.
Absolutely, thank you. What specific strategies would you use to strengthen community engagement and keep residents informed?
I would, this would be a lot of maybe tech where we're informing residents via online. You see stuff right now that's already on the site and stuff, but I think, you could do something even per se like a Fix It Fridays. If we're fixing potholes throughout the city, where we're letting the residents know, hey, it's a Fix It Friday, this is what's being fixed. That way they know and they expect what we are doing and what we are spending tax dollars on, but we're also showing them our progress. Communication,
that's right.
and respect.
Absolutely. How will you measure success as mayor, and how will residents be able to hold you accountable?
Success as mayor is when the people are happy. You know, the success as mayor is when you have a vision and you start to see it come to fruition. I believe in the first year of being mayor is going to be a rebuilding phase. It's going to be building that trust again, it's putting the stones in place. But you know, after year 3, you should start to see a little bit come to fruition. I have big goals, but so I don't know. I can't say that it will all come to fruition within 4 years. That's not a lot of time. But then having my mayor advisory board and my mayor clinic and speaking with the residents directly will hold more accountability. And I like to be hands-on. I want to be a hands-on mayor. I think that's what the job's for.
Okay. Now you said something, so I'm going to ask you, and I want you to be honest.
Yep.
And I think the residents will appreciate people when they be honest. You saying to make sure that the community is happy. Do you think the residents are happy with the city leaders right now?
No.
Thank you.
Absolutely not.
Thank you. You answered that. I want to hear from you. So thank you.
If I may add a handful.
Well,
of them.
you come on.
Why? What?
You can come on.
Oh, okay.
This is a candid conversation and personal conversation with me and you. And whatever you say here, y'all don't hold it against the candidate. Y'all can hold it against me. I want him to be fair and honest. I don't want him to sugarcoat. I don't want him to lie. I don't want him to make y'all feel good and then do something else. I want you to be honest.
Well, and that's a big reason why I'm running. Originally I had my neighbors come to me and say, hey, what do you think about running for mayor? And the reason is, and the more people I talk to, is they're sick of the infighting. They're sick of the way we look on the news. They're sick of everything. And I don't want to dig too deep.
Well, you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
You're telling the truth.
Because I don't want to be focused on conflicts. I want to be focused on moving forward. However, we can't have that. We can't have that. We know that people are angry. And then when I'm out talking to people, which those that may vote for me, a lot of them are looking for change. And I resonate with them when that's what they're looking for.
Okay. So you just said conflict. So you hear people say, oh, it's nothing going on, but you see it on the news every day. You see it at the meetings. You just sit at the meetings. Do you think we need change on the city council?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. The number one request from residents is to bring quality economic development projects. What projects or experience do you have in this area?
Well, I've been a small business owner.
Okay.
I've been a small business owner, so I see what it's like to start a business, to run a business, to employ. Within my small business, I did have 4 employees under me, which is not a lot, but I serviced about 50 to 75 people throughout the week. So developments like that, but you also have to instill the trust and give the opportunity to those that want to create. They aren't going to want to create if they don't see a city that is welcoming it. They're not going to want to create if they don't see a city that's going to embrace it and give back to that investment. If they feel that they may be overlooked, they're not going to want to come to your city. They're going to want to go to another city, which I believe we keep seeing. And a lot of our residents, one of the biggest problems I think that our city has, besides this accountability and transparency, most of our residents travel outside of South Fulton to shop, to do their errands, to have their family nights. They are not doing it in South Fulton. And that would be one of my biggest goals. That's why I said the accountability, transparency, that should be expected. That one to me should be given. Now, we've had our talk there, but how are we going to get South Fulton to stay in South Fulton, to spend in South Fulton, and keep our tax dollars in South Fulton?
But let me ask you this, because you said majority of the people. How do you feel about when they passed the ordinance of this paper bag? Because what I hear, folks don't want to deal with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they shop now, Chapel Hill,
Yep.
Fayetteville,
Mm-hmm.
Peachtree.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that?
Well, you're just drawing your residents out further. You're just giving them another reason to leave. You know, I don't believe, I personally I would probably side with wherever the majority of the residents felt, okay? But if I'm hearing complaints about that, if they're having to shop at other stores because of that, then to me, there's no point. It's a ridiculous, what you're doing now is you're decreasing your business within South Fulton. It's a negative effect.
Okay. Well, you coming on down to the wire. You said you was gonna be quick. You were gonna be quick and short.
This is good.
What would you, nope, I'm stepping ahead of you right there. Why should we vote for either candidate who is currently on the council back in office as mayor when there has been so much division already?
You shouldn't.
You should. That's just, okay.
I'm sorry, I'll
But
keep that short.
Hey, I told you be honest. What would you want your legacy to be if you become the mayor?
My legacy would be building South Fulton to a place where families thrive, where businesses thrive, to where we are the city that it wants to be, where the majority of residents see. And I want everyone to come to where they can live in South Fulton and for the rest of their lives, and they feel like their investments, their housing, and everything is going to be doing okay, and that their families are doing okay, and that they are being provided for within their city.
Okay, thank you. You got one more question, two more questions, and then you got that last powerful question that I'm going. The role of a mayor, the role of a mayor is no power. Basically, shaking my hand, rubbing babies' foreheads, being the face, and the mayor do have veto power. How do you feel about that?
Is there any point in having veto power when the council can overturn your veto?
That's a good question.
You know?
You said short and quick. That's a short. Hey, that's short. And I that's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about that. That'll be one of my key points tonight. Do you know people always talk about Old National and College Park? Do you know where Old National began in the city of South Fulton? On Old National, where College Park began?
Where it began, or
Yes.
when?
Where do it begin?
Where, I believe, right off of South Fulton and Old National? Or is that what you're talking about?
Yes, if you coming off of Old National,
Mm-hmm.
off the freeway.
Mm-hmm. Where does it begin?
Yes.
I believe, it's not Camelot, or well, it's right there. I don't know the road. I apologize.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, please do.
Can, once you get off of 285,
Mm-hmm.
all that area going up to the Rileys is College Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you pass that, then all that goes down to 138 is the city of South Fulton.
Okay.
And then once you cross over 138 and get at the rapper's house, that's Fairview.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick Ross.
And you said you said something. So you said Camelot, and I know candidates they tend to want to campaign off of Camelot. How you feel about Camelot?
Obviously, anything we could do for it would be great. We'd have to look into the reality of what we can do. But I think Camelot would be great if we could. You know, it's practically a blighted property. So
Okay.
there are people that live there, though.
Yes, it's people where the city don't have no right to go over there
Yeah.
on Camelot's property because all those are individual owned property.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the city can hold them accountable for the code violations.
There we go.
And I do know that I've heard that the city's going to go in there and condemn some of those places,
Okay.
but the city can't control Camelot. So when I hear candidates want to talk about Camelot and they want to really campaign on people that is down on their luck or whatever, and I heard Camelot was a booming back in the day.
Yeah, it looked like it. to
They
be a
say
nice
it was
area.
beautiful,
Yeah.
and people have abused it, and it's a court case now with Camelot.
It would be nice, anything we could do, but that's the biggest thing about a weak mayor system. You have to look realistically what you can do.
Okay. Well, this is this last final hot question. You can answer it. Take your time. But if you don't make mayor, don't make the runoff, would you embrace the best qualified candidate?
You told me to take a little bit of time.
Yes, you take a little time.
Keyword qualified, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I would do anything to move our city forward.
Okay.
whether that's me or whether that's someone else, I want to see the city at its end goal, and and I would like it to be me. But of course, if it's not me, I don't think you should sink the ship just because you don't like the captain.
Absolutely, absolutely. I tell people all the time, and I tell the council people this. You don't have to like the person, you just respect the position.
Absolutely.
Ryan, I want to thank you for coming today. I told you we was going to have fun.
This was great. I love it. I can do this all day.
It made you feel comfortable.
It was great.
Be honest. These questions right here, you didn't get these type of questions when you were doing the debates and the forums, were you?
No, not at all. These were all new questions, and you made me think, and I've developed some of these while I've been out talking to the people, and as mayor, I don't think that my end goals are going to be the end goals, because you're meant to represent the people. Your goals can change.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I look forward to working with all you guys. I'm gonna work with whoever want to work with me, and who don't want to work with me, I don't work with them.
Well, I got a pretty cool idea for a mayor advisory board if you want a spot.
See, if I get on that, see, they put
you got good ideas.
Well, let me tell you, they put you on them boards, then that means you got to shut your mouth.
No.
And I don't want to shut my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't want to be controlled. So I might not can be on them boards. I might have to just keep on doing. But thank you, Ryan. Today we spoke with Ryan. He's running for candidate. I'm gonna let you do your closing statement to tell them.
Yes. Hello. I am looking to change South Fulton. I'm looking to bring what you would like to see in South Fulton. As you've heard through these questionnaires, I hope that gave you a lot of idea on where I sit. As I said, I'm here to represent the people. It's not about being mayor. It's not about the title. For me, it's about helping the community. I got a servant's heart, and that's why that's why I'm running for this position. I would like to see this community thrive, because I know it can thrive. We have a great city. I see great neighborhoods. I love my neighbors. I love South Fulton, but I want to see South Fulton be the city that it can be. I want to see the destination city. I don't want to hear everyone leaving the city and talking about other cities that are next to us. So I would love for you to vote for me. And remember, my last name's Olson. So if you're going to go to the ballot box, you're going to have to scroll all the way down, find Ryan Olson, and vote for me.
Thank you again, Ryan, for coming. And what we're going to do, we're going to release these videos. I'm going to try to have them released all by tomorrow night. I didn't realize it takes so long to download them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they're building data centers to make that faster.
Okay, so look forward. And, again, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
That was good. We're going to turn this video off so won't nobody get our conversation.
Yes.
But
I had a pleasure.
Yes, it was great. And so thank you for changing your time.
Absolutely. Well, my schedule's been changing too, so that's why I was like, I haven't been able to make I've